Good morning. My name's Emlyn. I'm the Director of Oliver Architecture, and I'm presenting our Dennis House this morning. So I'd like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people as the traditional owners of the land upon which Dennis House is situated. It's in Northcote, in relatively inner suburban Melbourne, nestled between the Merri Creek and the Yarra River there. This is the site, so we're the Californian bungalow essentially to the centre of the site, and that's it now. That's our house sitting there, which you can see the courtyard cut out of. So Cara, the client, and her husband Joe came to us in 2020, at the very end of 2020, looking to renovate their home. It was a really lovely brief, specifically saying they wanted to maintain yard space. They had a preference for simple quality finishes, oversized or elaborate design, and they were interested in incorporating sustainable design principles. Then this sentence here really rang for us. They wanted the home to be light, spacious, and have a connection to outside. In essence, a simple home that is easy to live in. They'd love to incorporate timber and brick and prefer a lighter colour palette. So we just did that. This is the Californian bungalow that was on site when we first visited, and that's us just taking in the context. There's an interesting two-storey studio to the north of the site. That's the one on the left, and then the Californian bungalow to the south is essentially a mirror image of the one that was previously on site. So we were first engaged for a feasibility study rather than full services, and in doing so we actually explored three different designs. The first in the top left there was a renovation, and we sort of had a strong feeling that renovation wasn't the right thing to do for the site given the orientation, the condition of the existing residents and their brief. We also looked at a new build, which was sort of an elongated plan that really pushed everything to face north. We thought this could have been a really good resolution of the brief. However, it wasn't ticking the box in terms of them wanting to be really connected, so it was really spreading out across the site. So the other option which we looked at, which we felt was the right way from the beginning, but sometimes you need to present other things to get to the right answer, was a courtyard house. At first I was doing my best Roy Grounds impression, but realised that that didn't work, so pushed the courtyard to the north of the building. And this is actually the plan that we presented at feasibility, and it really didn't change very much from this, so I'll just run through this briefly. The entry is to the west of the site up there, living room, then the courtyard is after that. There's a little reading nook which is actually under the stair, so the stair was located towards the centre in the final plan. Kitchen, dining and study, and then below the kitchen there's the butler's pantry and the laundry and a little toilet underneath the first floor above. A little studio to the rear. And then upstairs there's a landing space which is actually open in the final plan, which forms a bit of a rumpus room, a bathroom, 2 kids' bedrooms, and the master suite over to the west. The house is on a insulated, hydronically heated concrete slab. We've used recycled brick for most of the external walls on the ground floor, and then the rest of the structure is CLT. So these are CLT walls on the ground floor, a CLT stair. The entire first floor is constructed of CLT, and there's a CLT roof. There's one steel member in the whole project, which is a lintel, which you can't see there over the rear sliding doors. We really tried to eliminate steel entirely, but didn't quite get there, unfortunately. I think it was over-engineered. The why CLT? So this was designed during COVID, and there was the issues, obviously, with procurement. There were issues with material costs going up massively. And sustainability was a strong driver. So we had sort of heard about CLT, understood what CLT was, but had never had the chance to explore it. So I actually gave XLAM a call and asked them what they were seeing in the market, and they said that their costing on their material was not going up and that they didn't foresee any issues with their supply. So we put it to the client quite early on. In the timeline, you would have seen that that previous feasibility study was in April, and this is a month later, and we've pushed CLT. and we ran with it. So it was a huge learning process for us. We spoke a lot with different subcontractors, suppliers, consultants to work out how it was done. And they said, you just chuck it on a truck and drop it off, and that seemed pretty good. So there it is. Craned onto site, I was just amazed seeing this thing turn into a house within the space of a week. We enjoyed a few beers there once the roof was on. And it really is amazing to see the difference this has between a typical traditionally framed structure. It just felt dense and solid from before even windows were on. So it's a beautiful thing. Going on to the house more in its entirety, so we present a sort of typological or, pretty normal gable roofed form. We were trying to mediate that two-storey studio that I mentioned earlier to the north and the existing Californian bungalow to the south. This facade is west facing, so we've got externally operated blinds over both the windows on the west facing facade. And as you can see here, this is just next to the brick fence that you can see straight through the house, and I actually live around the corner and go past all the time. You really get a glimpse of every day, and that's what they really wanted. They wanted to be open. They'd moved back from New York after living there for a long period of time, and we're used to being part of a community. That's the living room, which has a cavity slider going onto the front yard there, and then up above the master bedroom. Standing in the living room looking back towards that front yard, as you can see, the brick fence is providing some privacy, but if you were to step forward, you get a full view of the street. From the courtyard looking through the living room, and then from the courtyard, from the living room looking back towards that reading nook, you can start to see how you're getting those visual connections throughout all the spaces in the house. That reading nook, as I mentioned before, became a real sort of interesting piece in the puzzle where you could see all the CLT coming together. So you're sort of housed in this little timber box under there. That's that little CLT stair. Courtyard. The kitchen. That's Tom Ross's son Lenny on our scout for the photo shoot. Having some fun there. Don't ask me about big green eggs. That was a nightmare, but that's a big green egg barbecue off to the left there. The CLT structure, we're really championing the structure here, simplicity, we're trying to avoid applied finishes. Looking through again that connection to the street and seeing how that courtyard connects everything. Out to the backyard, Robin Barlow did an amazing job with the garden. I just can't wait to see it keep growing. This is upstairs in the kids' bedrooms, that CLT wall forming the break between the two. Looking into the courtyard from upstairs, we implemented a screen to help both with privacy and shading to that courtyard. Looking down, again, that connection between the different spaces in the master bedroom. And then we think, as I said, we essentially achieved what the brief was. What's truly special about the house is, from Kara, is how it makes us feel connected to one another. Even if we are in separate spaces, we often catch a glimpse of each other through the central courtyard that brings a sense of togetherness. That feeling extends beyond the house to the gardens and surrounding neighbourhood as the design welcomes this interaction from all aspects. Thanks.